Today, I feel like talking about something different. So we're going to talk about electric vehicles. But before I do, I first have to talk about the different driving modes. The first one is EV, electric vehicle. That's when you use an electric motor to power the car down the highway. But with batteries the way they are today, you get 40, 50, maybe 100 miles and you're out of battery. That's where the second driving mode comes in, and that's called extended range. With extended range, you get the mating of a gasoline engine and an electric motor, and you can get 200-300 miles or more before you have to fill up or recharge. Now, it's mating those two power sources together that things get a little tricky. So let's take a look at the way the Volt handles it. I've driven this car and it has a really good balance feel to it, more so than most of the other electric cars I've driven. And the reason why is the battery pack is located down low at the very bottom of the car and in the center of the chassis. The front suspension is fairly interesting. It has a forged aluminum lower wishbone control arm. And the only other component that gives integrity to the front suspension is this McPherson strut. It has an anti-sway bar, and the anti-sway bar link is made of plastic. And instead of attaching to the lower wishbone, it goes up and attaches to the McPherson strut just below the spring perch. Now, this link is about 14 inches in length, and it's corrugated. It looks like for weight reduction and also possibly to give it a certain flexibility. And when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, it's a plastic link, so they're trying to lose weight. Then I realized that there's a whole theme to this vehicle about weight reduction. And let me show you another one. 50 thousandths of an inch. That's how thick the sheet metal is under the car. 50 thousandths isn't much, but it enables the factory to reduce the weight. The trick is to reduce the weight and still keep the car strong. So what General Motors has used a number of stress techniques to help maintain the integrity of the car. And one of them you can see right here. You have a series of reinforcing ribs with a pinch weld between each one. This allows an extra layer of the sheet metal to come over this section here, which you would normally call a frame section. And this section is a double wall section, and then they've put this third wall over it, and that becomes the platform lifting corner. So you can see where we have our hoist lifting the car up from these corners. Here's a sign of the times. Underneath the car, there's a large electric conduit that runs from the front of the battery pack all the way past the gas tank. And it has bright orange warning stickers placed approximately every foot along its length. So they do not want anybody mistaking this for a hydraulic line or something like that. So my suggestion is, let's just cover it up. Underneath the car, the rear suspension is very interesting. It has two cast iron control arms. And they're not wishbones, they're just arms. They have a single mounting point on each one, and the mounting point and the pivot point is the same point. There's no subframe. The mounting point just goes straight to the bottom of the car. But there is this tube that's welded between the two arms to give them lateral stability. But as you can see, the tube is crushed in and actually becomes a channel. And the channel acts as a poor man's torsion bar, so that these two arms have an independent operation, but yet they're linked together because there's no subframe. So in order to give them stability sideways, laterally, they have that. And this enables them to give a very sophisticated suspension at a very low cost. We've had other cars in here recently. We've even had a Fisker in here, which had a much more, not necessarily sophisticated, but more costly materials built into the back end of it. And if this automobile were built by anybody else, other manufacturers, it would cost tens of thousands of dollars more. Now, these cost-saving techniques are not what I would consider a cheapening of the product, but really an advanced engineering and a key to what the future holds.
So click here to watch one of our 250 other episodes, click here to subscribe, and can we ask you guys a favor? Can you watch these within the first 36 hours? Because it gets us more views, which gets us more dollars, which gets you more episodes. And of course, follow us, MotoManTV, all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll see you guys next time.